But maybe in the meantime, have you had any other thoughts about any new things come to your mind?
Give it a thought. I didn't know that you wanted to take that. Get it yourself.
You were telling me some stories about customers. Maybe you remember some anecdotes or stories about some of your customers. We talked about the customer who went back to Germany for you. Remember he brought all those...
Yes.
Yeah.
Called me today, Ruby.
No kidding.
Ruby Sachs.
I called their parents on Friday, but nobody was home. You know what I have sometimes at the time between 8 and 9 that I can't contact her.
Yeah.
But I'm able to call them already.
You know, she's separated from her husband,
Yeah.
but he takes that Ruby, but he takes care of the dog.
So I heard. What did most of the German Jews who came here in the 30s, when you brought them over here,
Did anything.
any kind of work?
Yeah, anything.
Tell her about John.
They
So, you know the one who was from the Union?
John who?
French.
Right.
What about him? What?
I had a guy. Go ahead. Do you have
It's
it on?
on. Yeah.
I didn't even know you had it on.
It's on. You had a guy who what?
Should have put it on there. I had a good friend in there. He used to be a baker. He had a bakery, and then they made him, gave him a little office. Anybody from the Bakers Association, anybody who needed a job, he was the go in between.
For the German Jews?
No, not the German. For the Gentiles, for all the bakers in New York.
Didn't
And
he let you in on some real estate things?
Yeah, but this everywhere. He helped me with the heck knows what.
He was Irish. What was he?
He
Irish?
had friends like you never seen friends.
Yeah, we bought a house together once. But anyway, so when they came over here, you know, in droves, they had no jobs. So I called up John. John, I got a friend of mine there on the fence. She, who knows? I says, yes. Can you clean pots? Yeah. All right. Send them up. So I sent them. They gave them jobs. So for 3, 4, 5 weeks until they made a little money, and from there on they were on their own, you know, after a few months. And they quit and they got other jobs. While they were working there at night, during the day they found themselves other jobs. But they came here penniless, so they had to work, you know, they all had families. Like that Heinrich Berg, I got him a job for Fritz Bernhard as a dishwasher. You know, sure.
Betty got a
And I
first
got a
job.
job for Betty Sternberg there as a waitress. She couldn't speak English.
Where? For Bernhard?
Bernhard, you remember him or you don't?
Yeah. Where was he? At a restaurant?
Yeah, so near the Empire State Building, he had a big restaurant there. And I had a few more. George, come on, I'll tell you the story about Margaret and Otto. So Otto, I made out the affidavit for
I'll
Margaret
tell
and
you
Otto.
first about Betty. She was a waitress. She had no idea.
Can I get her? She said, I said to him, she's a
So she
waitress.
came out, the customer asked her, gave her an order. She was all verdutted. And he said, and some Luckies. So she goes out in the kitchen, a portion of Luckies. They laughed.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't know what Luckies. She was
Right.
just about a week in the country when he got her the job.
So she got a portion of Lucky.
Right.
So I wanted to tell you about Margaret and Otto. That's a little story. Ma was studying in Frankfurt, music, and she lived with them, with Margaret. And Margaret wrote her she wants to come to America. They had nobody, right? So she said to me, you got to give the evidence. Okay, I'll do it. So she said, you know, she goes with a guy for 10 years. He did not marry her because she is a poor girl and he was a rich guy's son. You know how it is? A poor girl has no chance to marry. And she wants to come over here, and after she's here, she wants to make the affidavit out for Otto. So I said, I tell you what we do. Write him, if Otto marries her, I'm going to give the affidavit for Margaret and Otto. So he did, and I brought them both over here. And Otto was one of those intellectual guys. And what is he going to do? I got him a job for George. Come on. He had a bakery. And Otto had learned how to bake. That's what he said. So I told him, George, do me a favor. I go, all right, bring him in. How much? Okay, bring him in. So he said to Otto, Herr Stern, the bakery is yours. You know, they work nights all day long. You bake whatever you want all day long. show me what you can bake, and do whatever you want. What did he took to
Let
the...
me say that although they had a big business, one, they were three brothers. One was a very well-known doctor, went to India later. The other one was a lawyer, also well-known. Other was intellectual too, but he had to take the business. They had hotel silver they manufactured. And they were real old patrician Jewish families.
High society.
Yes. And they looked down on Margaret, of course. She was absolutely no. During their lifetime, I don't think they ever had married her.
But he slept with her
She was-
sometimes.
Were you there, Charlie?
No, I wasn't between.
I'm not so sure. Then times were a little different.
Ah, you said it. 10 years ago. They only shook
Anyway.
hands with each other.
Anyway, it's going to bring out he had to be in this business. And then, during the Hitler time, they all tried to learn some kind of a trade with their hands, or, so they could, not speaking the language, they could do something in their case. So others took a half-year courses in one of the finest bakeries, either Kranzler or Franz in Frankfurt. Fantastic baker. Otto was an apprentice for half a year.
So he was a baker.
A conditor, he's a cook.
He was a consider.
And now you can continue.
Now comes the
when he
story,
came.
you know, Mr.
Kummer said,
Kummer said, here, Mr. Sten, the whole bakery, you show me what you can bake. So Otto baked, I think, 2 cakes, small cakes, all day long, and you couldn't eat them. So he said, Mr. Sten,
use 12
I
eggs,
don't
so on.
think you know how to bake yet. So he tells me, what am I going to do with it?
It wasn't even so bad, but it took him all day. Who
All
can
day
afford to have a guy?
So he said, I said, then let him clean the pans then. If he can't bake, let him do something in the bakery. So he smells. So he did. So even this he couldn't do, because instead of whatever it is, he couldn't even clean that. He had 2 left hands. So he says, what am I going to do with him? I can't. He can't do that neither. So I said, let him wash dishes and clean the floors. So a week after this, Irving fantastic. I'll let you look at it yourself while he does. Turn around and he doesn't see you. I've done clean out the whole place. So instead of pushing it away from him, he put it against himself.
Oh,
The broom against himself. So then I don't know what he sells worse, no?
no, then we got him groceries and stuff, and
He
he
went around.
around to the German Jewish families. So some customers, you got coffee
Yeah.
and all this, made a living. Then they did their best move. They became a couple.
They became a couple, and she know how to cook. They become rich people. Out in the
Couple of rich
country,
people.
yeah. He knew how to drive a car. He was the butler.
Yes, my dear.
Videotape. She doesn't feel, what are we talking about, Jason? She doesn't feel the husband can take care of the kid while she's in the hospital, okay? So she wants to send the kid to the town, right? So what I tried to impress upon her is that he's going to have tremendous reluctance to leave the father and go away for those 5 days, because he's going to be afraid she's going to be in the hospital. So I recommended that she get a tape recorder and tape some things for the boy, for Jason to listen to while she's away. And he needs to think about her. And he's going to give the father a lot of trouble. So, what she will do is give him to the friend. I think it's the best thing anyway. The father couldn't handle working and taking care of the kid. Yeah. He's being daycare. I think it's better for him to be with somebody full-time than
Does
daycare.
he like the girlfriend?
The mother says he does. I got a better case for you. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
This is a real perplexing one. What do you do in a case like this? I'm working with a family now for 2 years. Oh, a year and a half, this boy. Okay? He's 12 years old. His name is Gregory. It's a very complicated family background. To make it very brief, his father left when he was about 4 years old. Both the father and mother were in the Marines.
What?
Marines. The father and mother. So the father left the house. They got divorced. Parents got divorced. The mother went on welfare. Okay?
White.
White. Italian. Very Italian. So the father went to Florida. About 4 years ago, the father comes back. Moves back in with the mother. Okay? Doesn't marry her. The mother stays on welfare. The welfare doesn't know he's there. He's living there. Okay? He works for the state of Connecticut, clearing the roads. He makes money. And the money he makes, he puts toward the household. She works part-time also, as a domestic. So now, this father, while he was there, was terrible to this boy. Brutalized him, you know?
His own son.
That's his own son. He has 2 daughters, too. A younger daughter. The boy's 12. The younger one's about 6, and the older one's about 14.
In other words, not the 6-year-old one is
It's
not
his two. It's his two. Before he left, he had that one. That's how it worked out. So he has questions about whether it's his too, but it is his. So emotionally, he abused this kid. He really just he talks now about the kid as being crazy. He doesn't want to have responsibility. He's rejected the kid. He doesn't want responsibility for the kid. He says if he ever gets in trouble, he says I'm sure when he gets to be 18, he's going to be a murderer. Father says this.
He's crazy himself.
Right. He says to me, I don't want the responsibility. He says, you're going to have it. Because you're seeing him. You understand? Let him come take you to jail. This is how he talks to me. So, anyway, I've been seeing the kid weekly. He comes every week. I talk to the mother also. The father had been coming a few times, then we stopped. All the boy does is complain about his father. How he wishes his father would be out of the house. Okay? Because he treats him so terribly. And he feels neglected, and how he wants this and this and this, and he can't get it. So I've been trying to help him with that. He's doing much better in school. But it's reality that he's not treated very well at home. It's true.
So how can he be at
Of
ease?
course. So, but it's very dangerous that every week he has all these tremendous rage against his father.
This is tremendous child abuse, isn't it?
Of course. So the problem is it affects his self-esteem. If he doesn't respect his parents, his father or his mother, it's going to affect his development, how he sees himself. Okay? So I'm trying to help him on that. So about 4 weeks ago, he comes in. He says, he likes to play checkers. He always likes to win. He has to win. He needs to beat me.
Do you let him?
I never let a kid beat me. I play always real. They know if you're fooling. Okay?
So you beat him.
He beats me. He's that good. He beats me.
He beats you.
He's very good. He's tremendous. But sometimes I beat him. If I beat him, he can't stand it. He has
So
trouble with
listen.
it. That's not it. He can't afford to lose. It's the only time he can win. He's a loser in his life. You understand? He needs to beat me. Then he can be powerful. Okay? You see this all the time with the kids. Most of these kids have a sense of not being powerful. They see the world as strong and they're weak. Okay, so anyway. Where was I? So he comes in, he says to me, Mr. Schoen, I want to tell you something, but I don't want you to tell my parents. I said, of course, you know. He takes up his shirt. He shows me his back. He has a big scratch. It's like a scratch mark. That's healing. It's a big scratch. He says to me, my father last week came home drunk. And I went up to his room where he was in bed, and I wanted to play with him, something like that. And when I went to his bed, he punched me in the face and threw me on the floor. And that's why I have this bruise in the back. Yeah, he punched him out. So he said to me, I don't care if you tell Mr. Schoen. Okay? The father said that. I don't care if you tell Mr. Schoen. So we talked about that, how terrible he felt. You know, how he wanted to kill his father.
You wanted to kill his father?
Sure, he's told me that before. The father has said to him, when you get to be 20, when you think you're old enough, we're going to have it out. You understand? So you understand how disturbed his family is. All right? These are the kind of kids who later on go out and hurt people.
Of course.
Okay? With, you know how they feel.
Naturally.
So,
Let it out on society.
or on himself. So, he's enraged. We talked about it. So he says, boy, I wish I was stronger. I can't wait till I'm strong enough.
What can you answer?
What can I answer? I have to deal with the father. I mean, the kid's enraged. I can't tell him not to be enraged. He's scared. He's scared. He's afraid his father's going to really hurt him. So then I saw his Then I saw his mother, briefly. I see her for about 10 minutes, kid's mother. So I should have said to her directly what happened, what I saw the kid's mark, what's going on. I didn't. I said, how have things been the last week? Right? This is right before Christmas. Everything goes, Christmas time, people go crazy, you know that. So I said, what happened last week? She didn't say anything about it. She said, Gregory and his father got into some trouble. That's all she said. She covered for her husband. Okay? This is very common, where the husband and wife will protect each other. In child abuse cases, they'll deny it. All right, so that's the situation. What do you do with it? What do you do?
Can you make him feel
Father has
if
to
he
get out.
makes something of
That's one
himself?
possibility, yeah.
If he makes something of himself.
Or the mother, you have to talk to the mother.
And no, if he can make something of himself, if it's possibly to overcome.
How do you get him to that? The kid feels abused. How do you get him to make something of himself? How do you get
How old is he?
To feel
Well, the father says to me he wants to get the kid out of the house. He'd love to get him into a military school. He'd love to beat some sense into him. The guy's from the Marine. All right, so here's the point. I am by law. Now there's a law.
You have to inform somebody.
I have to report to the state whenever I come across child abuse. By law, I have to report it. If I don't report it,
You're going to?
I did. This
What
is
does
what happened. I
Marty
want to
say?
tell you what happened.
Yeah.
This is the story.
Yeah.
If I don't report it, I get fined $500. I can go to
You
jail.
speak to Marty about these things.
I'm going to get to it.
Yeah.
So I know this. I have to report it. So I saw Marty the next day,
Where's Marty?
my supervisor. I said, I'm very upset. I said, I feel I have to report this. This is the situation. He knows the case. I've talked to him about it before. He said, call up Protective Service and discuss it with them and tell them, report it. But tell them that you have the people in treatment, that you're going to continue working with them, and you don't want them to get into it yet. But you will report it. Okay? So I did that. I called them, and she said to me, the lady who I know said, okay, as long as they're with you, but send me a formal report on paper. There's a form, a legal form you fill out. All right, it took me a few days to do it. I wasn't rushing to do it.
It's a precarious thing.
Of course. So here's what happened. The next week, the father calls me up, says, I can't make it. The kid can't make it today. I said, why not? In the interval, the kid's mother's father, the boy's grandfather, died out west. He was dying, and he died. Okay? So the woman flew out west on Oregon on Saturday. Okay? She's not around. So the father says, we can't come today because she's not here. I said to him, I think it's very important you come down today with the boy. Okay? So he says, all right, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll come down. I had met with him 3 or 4 times already in the past. He knew me. Okay. So, I saw the boy briefly. I think I saw him first. I saw the father first. And I said straight out to him what I knew, and I wanted to know what the story was. I didn't tell him that I reported it yet. He admitted the whole thing. He said I punched him out. He said if he was 18, I would have thrown him out the window. Why? He says because I was sleeping, or on the bed drunk, I was stone drunk. He came to me and hit me on the head with a pillow. Okay? And it enraged him. He felt the kid was trying to kill him. But the reality is that the father knows that the relationship is so bad that inside the kid may feel that he wants to hurt his father. You understand? Because of it. So it just played on his craziness. So when the kid hit him on the head with a pillow, maybe he did want to hurt his father when he was drunk. Who knows? But with the father, he knocked him out. Okay? Okay. So he's talking about it. So I said, I'm a state worker, and you know that I, by law, have to report this. He says, what? He Because that kid finked on me. You see his, he saw his kid as a fink, as being disloyal to him. He ratted on me, He said, you reported it? I said, I had to report it to the state, but that you're going to work with me, that's the understanding, and they're going to hold off. I told him something like that. I said, let's make a deal, you and me. Just between us. I don't want you talking to Gregory about this. You come see me, we're going to work on helping you so you don't have to knock this kid out. He said, all right, it's a deal. But I said, let's keep it from Gregory. I had a fear that he would... And the mother's not home, but the kid was staying with the grandparents during that time. Fine. Okay, next week, the mother comes in without the kid and says to me, I don't like what you're doing. The mother came back. You are trying to blackmail my husband. You're trying to get him to come here because of this thing with the abuse. She says, he didn't really hit Gregory. It's a story. I said, your husband admitted the whole thing to me. She says to me, how dare you call up the state like that without telling me? Here I come to you week after week, you said everything is confidential. It's true. And then you call up the state. Now, she has a point. This is the trouble in this work. Everything is confidential. But there's a certain point where when you think someone's life is in danger,
You have to.
or they're going to hurt, you have to report it. That's how it is. So I told her, this is the law. I went behind that, I said, the law is I must report you. I have no choice. Well, I'm not coming anymore. I'm not bringing the boy, and I'm not coming. I'm so upset. I said, look, I know you're angry. I said, your father just died out west. I said, you're really facing a lot of... The other thing is, he's living there illegally. The welfare doesn't know the father's living there. Now, when the state gets this report from me, they see his name. Of course, they see his name. But I put down address unknown. I did tell her that. I told the father. That's all the father wanted to know, whether I put down his address. Okay? I said, the state doesn't know where the father lives.
So what happened now?
She says, I'm not coming back anymore, and the kid's not coming back. I said, I wish you'd reconsider. I know you feel very upset and angry at me. I know you feel I betrayed you. I had to do what I had to do. It's my job. She said, you know what? My husband's not going to come tonight. And that's that. So she walked out. After 15 minutes, she walked out. Anyway, the husband came that night, and we talked more about it. And he was angry at me. And he came the following week, he canceled. And he came this past week and talked to me.
And the boy?
Haven't seen him since. Nobody's bringing him. The big brother has a big brother. He called me yesterday. He wanted to know what's going on.
Oh.
The boy has a big brother, it's called.
How old is he?
He's a guy in his 40s, 30s. He says, Gregory told me you're not seeing him anymore. I said, yeah.
Wait a moment. Who has a big brother?
The kid.
Couldn't be 40, the big brother.
Big brother is a movement. It's not a real brother. It's adults who take care of children. It's like
It's the big brother thing, I see.
yeah, right. It's not like a real brother.
Even though he has a father, he still has a big
Exactly.
brother.
He had the big brother when the father was gone, and when the father came back, he
And
kept the
this
big
man's
brother.
interested in him.
Yeah, the big brother would like to stop. But the father has never taken responsibility for the kid, therefore the big brother kept doing it, the same thing he
So
does.
he asked you.
What do I do? I said, keep seeing him. I said, you're very important to him then. So anyway, that's the story.
But he isn't coming.
The father is coming.
Supervisor say to that.
He said, you did what you had to do. He said, don't worry, she'll be back with the kid. She will come back.
How about if the state
That
finds
kid-
out that
that
the
kid
father
probably
is
was-
Now,
that's going to be trouble.
if the state goes out, the father is very smart. He has his stuff at that house and his parents' house. So he can say he's living with his
He's
parents.
nearby.
Right,
Town.
right. He has his stuff there.
If they ask the kid, he'll say he's living
If
with
they
us.
ask the kid, he'll say he's living with us, and right.
So he's put down and played up that group.
Well, but he set it up himself. The father has set this up.
Yeah.
He's living a fraud. But that's the choice he made. If they catch him, they catch him. So that's
You
why.
know what happened to Mary's son?
Yeah, what you started to tell me. What happened to him?
Well, this girl got a second baby now.
By him or by somebody
By
else?
him. By him. And after he had her pregnant, he left her again for 2 months. Then he came back again. He works 2-3 months, and he's not. He is the lower. I think the lower one of her children. It's amazing what the differences are. That Marianne is the finest, most marvelous. She never gave me 1 minute trouble. I said, so this guy, he lives with that Liz, and she had to have a cesarean again, the second cesarean, can't have children otherwise. So he knew the next day she had to go to the hospital. He was going to bring her. So that night, came home about 5 o'clock, wants to walk into his house, the guy got him. What you call the parole,
Probation.
probation.
Same thing, yeah.
And they got him here in Jamaica.
Yeah, but you gotta tell him what he did. The most important thing. My name isn't that. My name is
Yeah.
That's more important than anything else.
I said, what's your name? So he said, Johnson. That's the girl's name.
You call the probation guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
My
ahead.
brother's name.
So he said, look, yeah, your picture,
Yeah.
your name,
He's a bounty hunter. Call them in. Go ahead.
put them in. So then Nebish Mary said the next morning was
Wait a
so
minute, and he signed the name of the other
all
guy.
right, so
That's a major
That's
thing.
what the thing was.
That's
Because he
major.
signed that.
keeping it
fraud.
4 months though. so
On account of signing the other guy's name,
Yeah.
not his name.
That's forgery.
Her brother, her
Certainly,
brother's
that's the
name.
most important thing in the world.
So Mary went and picked her up and brought her to the hospital.
Yeah.
She had a baby girl, and she said it was so ice cold in that apartment
She took the kid in.
where she lives. That Pamela lived there already while she was in the hospital. That's the older one, is 8 years old. Very rough.
8 years old now, the first one, huh?
Yeah.
He was gone that long.
Can read. Fabulous.
So they wanted to make sure he told them we're going to get a baby. So they called up the hospital. Sure enough, so they told him you got a little girl. That's how he found out.
After he was in the jail.
And the reason they
So-
took him was he wasn't going for his meeting.
Not only because he didn't
They didn't go for his meetings every week.
go for
And
his
he had another girlfriend.
signing.
So,
That anyway. But Mary took that list home, and she's it's about a week, 8 days, 9 days old. So what do you think Mary was yesterday here? Yesterday morning she said, Sean, can you imagine? Crazy Liz wants to go visiting him in jail by bus and whatnot.
where is he in jail?
Here in Jamaica, but she's still not healed, has a big cut. It's cold, it's ice cold. She has a little baby home, what she has to take care of.
Yeah.
Mary said, can I use the phone?
Yeah.
So after she was on the phone, I said, come on, let me talk to her. I said, Liz,
You know her?
no, just talking to her once on the
You're the
phone.
good white woman. Go ahead. You're the voice
No,
of...
I said, Liz, you want to know something? I had a cesarean too. And it took me 3 weeks to have
Yeah,
that
yeah.
healed. I said, you want to go out in this cold, don't you think of your other kids?
Yeah.
You've got a little baby there. You know, if you catch a cold now, and
Right.
and the way you're in a weakened condition,
Right.
what good do you do? You think you can get them out now?
Uh,
I said, stay home and take
Right.
care. She says, you're right. She starts crying. You're right.
yeah.
I should stay home. I said, you do that. Be glad you got a good mother-in-law like that. She calls her Miss Mary.
Miss Mary. Right there.
Mary.
Mary is Miss Mary. So, when Mary left, I said, here, $5, buy some Pampers and some things for the baby. And send it to her. Tell her to stay home with her ass for a little while now, where she has the cesarean and a baby and a girl. Not everything on you, She said, but how can I? I said, I fully agree. You can't let her stay alone in the cold apartment. With the 2 kids, can't even shop for herself
Yeah.
with them away. So she said she's going to keep her 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And she keeps on saying, oh, so good to me.
Who says it's Liz?
Liz, Mary. Liz, Mary.
You know that other guy, that Pushy, Pushy, that
Pucci.
How's he
you
doing?
know what
He
he did?
graduated high
I
school.
know.
Graduated, so Mary said to him, he makes a lot of money. Give me $5.
Not a lot of money. He works in the...
All right, he
What
makes
is that called then?
$125 a week.
No, he does not.
He makes $100 a week, all right?
He
You don't
does.
give her $5.
He lives in Homestead?
He did. So you know what Mary said? He said, you asked me for it. So Mary said, if I don't ask you, I wouldn't get it. You don't think you should give me $5 the way I cared for you all the time?
This is her grandson. Yeah.
Grandson, and we did.
Right.
She brought them all up.
I know.
So he said, if you wouldn't have asked me, I would. She said, get the hell out of here. She said, get yourself an apartment. You make money.
Right.
Get yourself a place. So he moved in with one of Mary's daughters. I bet Mary said he gives her $15 a week.
Good for her.
With whom did he move in? With
Carol or whatever her name
the
is.
one in Long Island City.
There's two in Long Island City.
That fat one.
One is fat, the other is thin. And so he moved in there. He says, Miss Schoen, you've never seen such clothes.
It's got 9 heads.
The finest. Would you believe it? Hangs it on clothes. But she said, one thing I got to say, at least he graduated high school and he applied to city colleges. They most probably one of them will take him. So if he makes...
Good. One of them will make it. Two of them.
That's the guy, you know.
That Michelle got $700 loan
For what?
to go to business school.
What got a baby.
Every day to business school. She wants to be a...
Let me finish the story about him, but you know when he came one day and said, listen, I have some things to do.
No, that's
You know,
So say it again. Go ahead.
so I said to him, all right, killing me. You know, I know what I was going to say. I said, how much you going to town for? It's out. Well, I got to get $5 an hour. $5 an hour. This guy's too expensive. $5 an hour. I said, I investigate, I want to do it myself before. So she talked to him, and then he's trying to get $5.
Get minimum, she said.
Minimum wage is $5.
What is minimum now?
$2.85. That's what he makes now in that box in the box. What is it?
Oh,
Something in the box.
chicken in the box. I know what you're
No.
talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, how do you
Jack
call it?
Jack in the box.
Jack in the box.
Yeah.
They all work there. Rodney and
He has,
the
he
other
has
one.
a friend who runs it. Yeah. Is what 23rd
Right.
Street? 23rd Street.
They're all over.
They have fast food.
Yeah.
That's not good. You know,
This is so common where these kids think they
Huh?
can make. It's so
No,
common
he
these
didn't
kids
see
think
the
they can
story. He
make.
started painting. He went like this.
he started the pains, you know, like that. You know, oh my God. I said,
He's really a
I
painter,
said-
man. He
Good
draws
thing.
beautifully.
Oh, as an artist, yeah.
An artist,
I said to him,
you
I
don't do
listen,
the house like
you
that.
know, at the rate, even if I pay you $2.85, it costs me $5.50. And I killed pennies. What do you mean? I said, like the way we bought it, just the way I said, well, let's not like this. Like this, you might have to double it. Otherwise, it costs me $5.50.
So he calls the $5 man. He talks to Mary. She says the $5 man moved out, Mary.
Oh, she calls him a $5
That's
man.
what she said.
The $5 man moved out. She says, I finally, he didn't give me even $5 a week from working, but clothes and she keeps strict. He has a girlfriend, quite a wife. And she says she brings her home, so that's all right. Coffee, cake. But you're not taking her in your room. There are small kids around. She is not permitted to go in your room and close the door. It's not going to be done here. So,
He does it outside in
Fine.
front of the place.
all right, she has nothing to say what he does outside.
In front of her house.
There you go, but
Just want to see what it means.
it's just as good that nobody wants to. Right.
He asked me what to do in his case. His partner, they don't get along, they're two partners. And he wants to make a decision if he should stay there or the partner. But I advise him to stay there, because if he goes out, he has to look for another place or another job. He's already in the end of 50s, so for him to get a job is not so easy. He says, can I get a job with you? I said, yeah. And you can't get a job. We don't take anybody after 40. After 40, you're finished. So he said, in your case, I would pay out your partner and take another partner, or take a good man and pay him well. You can afford to give a guy $250 a week for 5 days. In your business, you can get a guy like that who opens up the store for 2-3 hours, and then you're easy. You can manage it. But that's your decision to make. I only give you my advice, which you asked me for. So he says, that's a good idea.
Has he got the money to pay the partner
Oh,
out?
he has the money.
How much
There's
is it
much
involved?
money involved.
What?
$25,000.
It's a small business then.
Where's he located? What street?
He's near 40th Street and 7th and 3rd Avenue.
How much does he take out of that business?
They
himself?
don't make both much money. Now, it's good for one man, not for two. Each one makes about $300 a week.
And he works full time?
5 days.
Full time.
Both work full time. Which is not too good.
No.
For instance, Jimmy, he takes in about $17,000 a week. I don't know how much money he makes a week. I do not know.
You told me he puts in a few $100 cash every day.
Every day he takes out of maybe $100 or $200.
Just takes it without declaring it.
Of course.
Now, we shouldn't
Most
have
of
that.
them
We
do.
shouldn't have that on tape. But you don't know where it is anyway.
I wouldn't worry about it.
No, I wouldn't. The Internal Revenue wouldn't find it.
They're not going to take this tape yet, the IRS.
No, I hope not. So that's the situation.
You know, there are some places where you
Then I
can
want to
make...
tell you what happens where I go Monday morning. I go Monday morning to one, he was there 10 years, and he can't get a new lease. He paid about $375,000 for the place. You know that ape you were there on his daughter's wedding, they invited us. That fancy wedding out in Long Island, don't you remember?
You went to so many...
In Long Island we couldn't get in after Shabbos after night. You were sitting next to that nice woman. So
We have a hardware store.
the friend has the heart. He sold it too. I visited him.
Yeah.
He went to Florida. He had an accident. You remember that the friend? Yeah. And now he has to go out without anything.
He lost all of 370.
Not yet.
He
but
still keeps the store.
He's still in the store,
Want to keep it?
but he has to get out. He cannot sell it because he has no lease.
So what
Oh,
happens
I
to
see.
him?
Then it's
Nothing. He has to
then
get out
then
someday
that's
without
fine.
anything.
What happened to the money he put into
Then-
it?
then
Nothing. What should happen?
He loses it.
Naturally.
Take them off.
What should happen to it?
Slip-ins.
Who gives it back to him? The man who sold it to him? Nobody. That's business.
But there are some small businesses. I mean, if you want to make for a few years,
You want to wake up
fast
for a few
money,
years.
that work very hard, there are some businesses where you can make a lot of money. That day comes across, but you don't want to stand behind the counter and
Who doesn't? I'd love to.
Ah,
I'm
geez,
serious.
She'd like to do that. She'd like to run a restaurant.
listen to this.
well,
I'm serious. I'm very serious.
She'd
Well-
like to have a restaurant.
if it is a good place, you could make a lot of money. I can see it for a few years to work hard.
I've wanted to for years to have a restaurant.
You wanted what?
To have a restaurant for years.
What
I've always
kind?
thought about it.
What kind of restaurant do you mean? There's so many
Kind of
different
a-
types.
Well, you know, sort of one of those sort of open-looking, attractive-looking things that have quiche and soup and.
Can you tell me one restaurant which you like to have?
Something
Where
like
you go to
that.
eat,
The
what you
Village or
like,
something?
what type?
Which I would.
How about Healthwork? Something like that?
Well, it's a little too complex. I'll tell you more in San Francisco. Are there any concerns on the west side?
East, west?
Where?
There's a place on the west side. You probably east, west. It's a restaurant. Health food.
I'd like something that served sort of things along the health type of lines, like very beautiful salads.
Good salad. Spinach salads.
And wine and, you know, apple cider and quiches and good soups. Like just a few.
There are
basic
some,
things.
for instance, across from Carnegie Hall.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you got it.
There's one there. That's
You know,
right.
with a small menu of very
What
delicious,
kind of
very nice-
soups? You're going to have a party or something?
Yeah, you want to get a recipe.
Oh, yeah, I want to get a recipe for a barley soup. So like good, really delicious mushroom barley.
Yeah, now, you can make it from scratch, that is real barley,
Make
you
from
put all the
scratch?
vegetables, then you
You
gotta
can make it.
put meat in.
You know who I met, speaking about restaurants?
Uh,
You want to have her write it down? The recipe now? Or later?
What did you need?
Remember
have a cat.
Samboon?
The guy that Chinese, where is he? What is he doing now?
Remember Samboon,
Is he
Mother?
working at night yet?
Samboon? Remember Samboon? Remember that Thai student I had who opened a restaurant?
Yeah. On
we
99th
went there
Street.
once.
Right. Guess where I met his wife? His wife's a nurse.
Where?
I'm walking down the hall to see her mother at Roosevelt Hospital.
Can you imagine?
Who was the nurse working on the floor? His wife.
It's a small deal.
I
Are they
recognize
together?
her. Yeah. They have 2 kids now. He bought a house in Elmhurst.
How
And he
come?
still has
A double-decker house. He lost everything. He lost everything.
I knew he would.
He gave it to his sister. He walked out.
I knew he
Then
would.
his apartment was broken into and stolen. His wife got sick, was in the hospital. Terror trap, but he's doing okay now.
What does he do now?
He's a
Kenny?
night auditor. He's got a good job
That's what he did for the last time.
with a Marriott hotel chain, one of the chains.
Yeah, Marriott is all
He's
right.
got a good job. He makes $18,000.
Yeah.
He's happy. He really wants to make it. She works as a nurse. His mother is here, and his mother takes care of the 2 kids. They bought a double-decker house, a 2-story.
Oh, but otherwise 2 families, so he lives
No, no.
for nothing.
Right.
Similar to it.
He asks for you. First thing, how's your father?
I knew right away he would lose his business.
And
Another-
first thing he asks, how are you?
know what I mean? They don't see, but-
See, for instance, this is
Can't
something
be
naturally
very
which
sensitive.
takes quite a long time to get experience.
I
Like
Judging character. That's the whole
say
thing.
in your kind of business, you
Character.
can't be too sensitive because there are a lot of
No.
low down.
a lot of
people to
love.
deal
I'm
with.
going to have Monday morning, this Monday morning, I'm going to have 2 big problems which I have to solve. Naturally, that's so easy. I will give them up. That's my idea. 2 customers, big customers.
What are the problems?
They want too much for nothing.
And Baxter
Howard,
is
Howard.
ready to give it. Howard.
I don't want to give
Howard
them.
Richter.
Of course.
Sure, he's after
How much money do they want?
Well, it amounts to, I would say, about $4,000 for nothing, merchandise, and it amounts to about, he got a loan of about $6,500.
Crazy. So you make $10,000 on the bond.
Yeah.
Well, he used about 350 pounds of coffee.
I think the only time.
The only time it happened, I tell you, I had a customer. First, he had a place in the Bronx, and he paid me, and then he wanted to get rich quick. He didn't care of anybody. So he had a Jewish fellow and an Italian. And I had a store, first mortgage on a store on 23rd Street and 10th Avenue. And one day I passed by there and a mortgage on the fixtures. This guy took all the fixtures out and opened up a place in New Jersey. It was too late to call the lawyer because the truck was gone. Okay, finished.
Fixtures means what?
The
Urns,
machines.
the machines,
Everything is in there. So, but he had another store, and he sold that too and finished, disappeared.
All corporations.
Corporation I couldn't do, but I had it personal. I had him personal.
Sign.
Yeah.
And even when you do a thing like this is a criminal offense. When you take something, there's a mortgage on your television, the television company owns it. And
Right.
you take it away and move someplace and don't pay him, so if they catch you, you gotta pay. So this is similar to it. So, I do not know exactly anymore how I found out. I was on vacation, and I came home and I seen in the paper, on my notations when I came home, which they sent me at home, I found out, I always knew the...
Liquidation or something?
Whatever it is, I found out that he bought a place. Under a different name, on a different corporation.
In New York.
And I get up early in the morning, and I says, now I'm going to find out that's the case. Sure enough, there he comes with his Cadillac, and the partner with the Cadillac, and they open up the place. Oh, he didn't see me, naturally.
Excuse me 1 second. Didn't you do that time and again?
All the time.
Often,
All
all
the
the time. He got so many people.
Afterwards, he did it all the time, but I was the only one, I would say, who got his money. So I called up the lawyer, and at that time I got a judgment against him for his arrest
Arrested.
after he did this from the court. So I called up the lawyer. I said, this is what happened. What are we going to do? I says, well, he says, I'm going to send a marshal there and put him in jail. We have a warrant out for him. How are you going to meet? I says, all right, I'll tell you what to do. I'm going to be 2 doors down and have a book in my hand, and you got to go in with him and you got to point him out. It's okay.
Book in your hand, buy a book in your hand.
So
He
the
was gonna
marshal knows
pretend.
me.
He was going to
Oh.
pretend. Yeah.
Had my settle or whatever I had in my hand, so then it's okay. I go with him into the place at about 11:30. I said, this fellow and this fellow are the two fellows. Oh, how are you? Fine. I said to him, these are two fellows. And I walked out again.
You walked right out.
Yeah, and the marshal said, okay, put your hat and coat on, both of you, out.
Does he carry a gun, the marshal?
He always has a car. What
He had a
do I know
gun.
if they carry a gun? So one of them said, listen, take only one, because otherwise we would have to close the store.
Yeah, so what the marshal
Wouldn't be any good. So the marshal took one of them to jail, and afterwards they called me up and said, all right, I don't know how many thousands of dollars he owed me. He says, all right, let's say he owed me $4,000. So he said, all right, we'll pay you $2,000 and down and the rest. So I didn't want to close him up and all that business, because after all he's going to pay. So he paid it. He paid $2,000 to the marshal, right? And then he paid another $1,000 the next week. So the marshal let him out after 2 days.
You could keep him in jail until it...
And he did it all the time afterwards.
All the time. How
And I
many
met him,
people
and
he
I-
got?
50, and he made a fortune. I don't know what he's doing now.
Oh,
He went to a
thank
different
you.
town. From here, he went to. He even bought a big chocolate company in Boston
Same
and
thing.
cleaned out that chocolate company. He sold the stuff from Boston and brought it here. You know, let's say it cost him $5 there. He sold it here for $1. Whatever
But it
money he
cost him
could,
nothing.
whatever money he could get, he made it.
Didn't pay anybody.
What do they call that?
And a
It's,
handsome-looking guy, and a nice-looking guy, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe it.
Didn't he say, Irving, you wouldn't do that to me?
Yeah, he says you wouldn't do that to me.
Slick guy.
No, I
Slick.
wouldn't. I wouldn't do it to you. Naturally not. But the marshal might do it to you. I don't know. So this is what happened.
Didn't the marshal take in money then, stay there? On the cash?
The marshal, no. The marshal put him to jail.
But I thought for a while he had to take
No,
in
no,
the cash.
that's someplace else. That's someplace else.
That's a different story.
Yeah. But this what happened. That story. And afterwards, I met him a few times. He didn't hold it against me. He knew that.
Real
he did
crook.
wrong.
Real crook.
Huh?
Crook.
Absolutely crook. He found out that he makes more money quicker buying places which were under. He takes. Listen, he buys a place which had so and so many debts. He says to the guy, "I'll buy the place." And you know they were in a position already to, if they don't sell, they close up. So he bought it. I take over your debts. You know, he never paid the debts. He milked the store.
No.
He even bought a store in the guy, a good store. And he said to the guy, all right, I give you a check in it for a month ahead. In other words, he takes it over, let's say, the 1st of January, and he gives him a check for the 1st of February. So he was 4 weeks in the store when the check busted.
Took in the
And
money.
and took in the money for 4 weeks on credit. And then the guy had to give him money to take him out. Otherwise, he would have to go to court, which would take 2-3 months.
There was an article about this in
No,
New
I
York
only-
Magazine.
No, I only tell you
Should've
what
saved
things are
it for
being
you.
done. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
him alone. A lot of them do it like that. But these are out-and-out crooks.
I think in the long run you can only exist with honesty. In the long
You
run.
can't make a fortune.
You,
So, you can't make a fortune, but
who wants to
it,
make a
it
fortune?
just doesn't work.
So tell me the story how you made all that money to buy stocks. How did you came here in 27, right? And in 2
I came
years
in
you made
20.
so much money
I
that
made a lot of money.
How did
I
you
tell
make
what
all that
happened.
money?
The coffee went up from, I worked on commission. Let's say the coffee was about 10 cents a pound or 8 cents and went up to 25 cents.
yeah.
So I still had that cost price and we made, I don't know how many $1,000 a month I made. So that time we bought stocks on installments. Let's say,
On
let's say
margin.
for $100 worth of stock, I only had to put up $10,000.
He brought money from Germany.
Yeah, I
he
had
had
money.
saved money.
I had money.
You brought from
As
Germany.
Oh,
a
yeah,
young man, he did very well in Germany.
I did. So I had, how much did I have? I had about $950,000 worth of stocks
On paper.
On paper.
in paper.
How
Maybe
much?
It cost me maybe $100,000. And I owed the bank, I don't know anymore how much. Or maybe I had more, I don't know
Now,
anymore.
you didn't put in more than about 25.
More than that, don't tell me. Whatever it is, I owed the bank.
How much of a yeah.
I owed the bank.
25 at this time is as much as 200,000 now.
Never mind, what's the difference? I owed the bank and the stocks went down, let's say from $100 to $5. In other words, the bottom dropped out to such an extent that's unbelievable.
You know how many suicides and what was going on.
And I was sold out for overnight.
Your broker sold you out.
Oh, they had to. I couldn't put up more money. They wanted more margin. So everybody, even the mates, everybody bought stocks on margin that time.
Was that what
29.
what went wrong with the economy?
29.
That's part of it.
That went into stock market crash.
29.
So everyone had this money on
so
the
I-
market,
Everybody was
I-
wiped out.
and then
Now
they realized one day that it wasn't real.
Right.
Well, if they bought it for their own money, not on margin.
if you
and
was
kept
your own,
it,
no, nothing happened. If you pay for it
Afterwards-
cash, nothing can happen to you.
If he would have had those stocks, I mean, he would have kept them. He'd been a rich man.
Yeah, but let's say he paid the full value.
Yeah.
Let's
he
say you
kept
had 1,000 shares. Let's just say, and each share was worth $10. Okay, and you paid $10,000.
Yeah.
But I understood when the stock market fell, the value of the share went from 10 to 1.
it. Right.
So now you lost $9,000.
Not necessarily.
Real dollars.
No, you
If
kept
the
your
stock-
stock.
You kept your
You
stock, but
didn't
now
have to sell on paper. You lost 9.
Right. So if you're a rich man, you could keep it, but you'd only have $1,000 worth, right?
But
You'd have
after
to wait a long time till it went up.
Like
The rich
my,
people were able to keep
But
it.
those under those $10,000, I might have only put up $1,000.
Right. So they wanted the rest of it. They
You
called
know,
In
you.
other words, the rest they loan, the rest that time today you can't do. Today you have to have 75% cash or 60 or I don't know how this is.
You know, my aunt in St. Louis had
Bird? Is that Bird? Who's that?
and Betty Lipman, my
Lipman.
mother's sister.
Yeah.
Her husband, he was in the stock market, but so deep on margin that when he died in 34, when I came to their house,
Yeah.
she could not get to her will for a whole year. The bank kept it sealed because there was too much owed on the stocks. But then somehow the stocks went up.
No kidding.
And after 35, do you know that Aunt Betty was worth about $500,000
In real money? In real money.
in real money?
What's the difference? The stock was worth $500,000.
Right.
Real money, naturally.
She kept it. She was able to keep it.
She was, I mean, she sold some, but you know, I had to give
And the kinder
$8
spent it.
a week.
Tell me. So
Because
what
she
did you
didn't have
owe?
money,
What
she
did
couldn't
you
get it
owe
back.
then in real money?
After how much did I owe? I don't remember.
Was it $100,000 in
No,
real money?
are you kidding?
I thought 30,000 or 40.
Maybe $26,000 when we got married.
That was in
I,
what
Oh.
year?
I
You
still
got married
owe
in
I
30
still owe the bank about that much.
You got
But
married in 38.
don't forget
You
that-
didn't know
that-
900. You didn't
Now the
know
following
900.
thing happened.
Making $25 a week, most of the refugees.
What he owed, so you owed not $900,000.
No,
No.
You owed
$26,000.
about $26,000. Your piece of the percent
Yeah.
you put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see,
But if you
then I went
consider
to the
that
bank. I
to
went
make
to
a
the,
lot of money was
you
$25
see,
a week.
my friend who was one of the tellers, Italian, and we did it. So I said to him, now listen, how are we going to do it? I can't pay you, right? I haven't got it. After I was sold out, so he said to me, but I make arrangements with you. You will never lose anything on me. I'll pay you off so and so much a
You
month.
told the teller.
Naturally, you want to keep your
I
credit.
says, come with me to the manager and we'll straighten it out. If you don't, well, then you lose it and I lose it, but I don't want to do it. So he went to the manager and said, listen, this is what happened. You know, he knew it already. And I made arrangements and I paid it off.
How much did you pay off a month?
We paid
How much?
together.
I don't know.
Something like $200 a month. He made good money then. Dad.
$38
$200 a month, that's all I paid off. $24 a year more. I paid
We
off.
paid
more.
maybe $400 a month, right?
Well,
All I
I
know
paid
is
off
we
in
couldn't
3-4
buy any
years.
furniture for
I paid
ourselves.
off 3-4 years. I paid the whole thing off.
Yeah?
Oh, whatever it is, I paid it off.
No, it took us longer.
You got married in what year?
38.
So he was still owing money in 38.
Of course,
It
he had
happened
paid
in
in the
29.
meantime.
It happened in 29.
Naturally,
And
he
it took
paid
you a
all
long time.
along.
That's how long it took me.
Most people,
might have
most
been
More
people,
money. I only was
But don't forget
still a
most-
balance. Was still a balance of that amount when I married.
38.
Of
Yeah.
20 some odd $1,000. He told me though.
That was a lot of
He
money.
said, everybody thinks you're doing, I mean,
You're
you're
marrying a
getting
rich
a
man.
terrific catch,
And I
you
did
know,
it. And I did it.
money-wise,
And I
because
did. I made a lot of money.
salesman in his company,
I was the top man.
the average made maybe $50 the most
A week.
That was a lot of money too. I made only 25 or 30
And I
in
made
Jane
maybe
Engel as a
200,
saleswoman
250.
You made $250 a week
on commission.
in those days.
But we had to pay off.
What did a Pontiac cost you in those days? Do you remember?
A few $1,000.
They called him
That
the
much?
Pontiac.
Nobody had a car.
He had a car.
This is the first car. The Ford cost me about $500-600, a new one.
A new
Then it
Ford.
went $750, then it was $1,500, and that's how it go on. Sure. I still have a bill for it. You like to have that?
Sure. For the first Ford?
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
What?
You have that bill yet?
Yeah.
How come?
How come I kept it?
Where
He
did you
keeps
find it?
everything.
He keeps-
I'll see where
That's
it is.
why it looks like that in his
So
office.
it's valuable to see all these old documents. A Ford?
We got to empty it.
I'd love to see it. We'll go through
You know
it.
what else
So
I
isn't
have?
a model,
I got my
No.
my
Was it a Model
my
T?
stuff
No.
from Germany yet.
Hat seine Zeugnisse, seine
Great.
You know, when
High
I went to,
school
when I went to
high
the
school.
high school
Vortrag.
or college, or what do you call a realschule or a college?
High school.
No, it's high school.
That's more than high school. Don't be silly.
Well, if you made your Abitur, that was more than high. You have your
Your doctorate.
Einjährige, we all had Einjährige.
So what is
Like,
what is it called? That's more than high school.
But
here.
it is, believe me.
They don't learn no French and stuff in high school.
Of course they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then I'm sorry.
We have foreign language.
I was practically
These
fluent.
things of the high school. You learn Spanish, French, any.
Trigonometry,
Okay.
algebra.
So
Whatever.
when did you meet Hickenberg? Because when I
here,
think
all those boys who came over here that
when I
time.
think of the car, I think of
27.
you used to go driving up to the country with a guy.
Well, this is some, not everybody had a car. That was out.
How many people had cars?
None. I was the only one.
So were the streets were
Leo
paved?
Neuberger,
They had no
Lichtenberg,
car, they
all
couldn't afford
walked
it.
by foot.
Where the streets were paved in New York, though.
Certainly.
How?
Did they still
But
have
the
horse-drawn?
highways were not as
Did
good.
they have horse-drawn carriages still? No.
When he came to them,
Sure they had.
In 1927?
They had, those street cars and not only this,
Trolleys.
trolley cars.
They
And
have
we had
horse-
the elevators. You
How
don't know
about
them.
horse-drawn carriages?
They
Yeah.
delivered
Well,
by
they got
wagon
rid of
and
them.
horse.
Milk. Oh,
When I started, I had a horse and wagon yet.
Serious? In
Yeah.
27?
Of course.
Kidding.
His firm was a small concern.
They still had horses in the
But they
The
city?
got rid of
colonial,
You drove a
the
horse?
You
colonial
didn't drive a
coffee
horse. You had a
company.
car. You had a car, though. You didn't drive a
No, not
horse.
right away. After
Did you drive a horse?
No.
no, after a year I had a car. Not right away, but 28.
He went by foot too to make the customers
The end of
in
27
the
or
German
28.
district.
And that's how I went. I went to vacation. I bought a new Pontiac. They called me Pontiac. Every year I bought a new Pontiac.
Leo and Bernard, so you know.
So I
Pontiac.
called up Hickey. I said, Hickey, come on, take 2 weeks vacation with me. Cost you nothing. I have the Pontiac. So I said, okay. So during the week he called me. Irving, he says, can I take a friend of mine along? I said,
Oh,
all
but
right.
that was much
You know, we had a
later.
big car. I had a
Irving.
big, yeah, that was naturally later.
That was in 37 because
All right.
they told
You
him
want to know
about
the
me.
story
That's
how I
how
met
we
her?
met.
I see.
How I met her. So I said, so he called up, I got a friend. I said,
Yeah.
all right, bring him along. So the friend called, I got another friend. He said, all right, bring him along. So we have 4 boys. So we went away for 2 weeks, all the New England states.
You did the New England, yeah?
The first, there was one night, we came up, near Lake Placid and who knows
New
where.
Hampshire, I thought.
All over we went. So we were one night, Hickey made arrangements to stay in 1 week in near Mount Washington. I don't know the name of where it was in the town. So I always get up early, no? I walk out early and I see in front restricted, Gentiles only. We were there. And churches nearby and all this was Gentiles only, restricted. And I went upstairs, hey, you bums, get up. We go, pack. Not even breakfast we're going to have, so we settled, we had breakfast there. I said, I'm not going to stay another day. He said, what are you, crazy? No, out. I said, what do you mean? Look, did you know what kind of a place we are in here? No, restricted. So I went to her and said, give us a check. Check. What do you mean? What's the matter? Don't you like? No. We are Jewish. They didn't believe that we are Jewish. Hickey's blonde, and I didn't look so Jewish, man. So I said, we are Jewish. We are out. We wouldn't stay another minute. She couldn't believe it.
They wanted you to stay. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
mean it so personal.
Yeah,
or
no,
this,
because
I don't
we
know how
were,
you
we
do.
didn't, we didn't look so. The others didn't look like Jews at all.
How many times did this happen to you in your travels?
Many
times?
Many times. We were once with Barbie. I had a customer up near Tannersville in the
Dad and
Poconos.
I.
I told her, come on, that my friend bought a beautiful place in the Poconos, and we want to see it. I don't know, they sell them coffee. I don't remember. So we went up there, and we were sitting there out there. Was it open? I don't know. We were sitting in there, all the goyim. I didn't know. I didn't know there were only Gentiles there. So we were sitting there, and one woman next to her said, "Isn't that wonderful here? No Jews."
She said, isn't it a lovely
Isn't
place?
that a
And the nice part, no Jews. I
I said, my dear lady, you're out of luck. You're sitting right next to one now.
Yeah.
Oh
I've
my
seen
God.
her face,
Oh my
that's
God.
red as a tulip.
You
Yeah.
I said, it's too bad for you, but you won't sit long with it.
So I
So
told the
Dad
guy,
went
listen,
in,
you're
he
going
said, my
home.
dear, this is no place for us. I'm sorry, he said, my Irving, I didn't, you know how I feel? He said, I'm
Nothing
very
doing,
sorry.
nothing
You won't
doing.
feel
You know, I
comfortable."
remember, you can tell me more about this. When I was about 8 or 9, we went to Maine. I went along with you on a vacation.
Oh, we had a big fight.
No, not the fight. Not the big fight. No, you want to hear the fight?
I
Forget
heard
the-
of it.
So what happened?
No, no, no.
Isn't it
no.
amazing? Once
That's
we
what
had
the
a
one
fight.
fight, right? No, where they wouldn't, where they.
That was when you were 15 years old.
The fight? I was about 14.
No, when we had on vacation, what was it?
We went to Bar Harbor.
It was Bar Harbor I'm talking about. Well, how old was I?
14.
I thought I was younger.
No.
You sure?
No.
Maybe it was younger than
We
that.
went to Bar Harbor, Booth Bay, remember?
And they wouldn't let us, they wouldn't take
You
them.
got the first place, they said we have no more rooms.
And the guys in back of me got rooms.
The people behind them got rooms. We
And
went to the
Irving-
next place.
Yeah.
Remember that? That little place has a few rooms there, remember that? He came out, he first said, the woman said yes first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then
And the guy
Have
came
you
out and
seen the
saw
name
your
Irving
license, he saw
Schoen?
your license plate.
Irving, no good, finished.
We have no
Your
rooms.
license?
New York
Oh.
Jews. Right? He saw it and I
No
said,
rooms.
no rooms.
I said, fuck
It
that.
took us quite a
I
while.
cried, I was very, weren't you upset? Don't you remember how upset we were? I remember being very upset about it.
No, because it was already late at
It was
night.
pretty late. And
And
you know
even-
something? Now it's swamming with Jews.
That's why they did this. They didn't want
No,
the
here in
Jews up
Forest
there.
Hills, what do you think what happened here on the other side of Forest Hills?
What?
No Jews?
No Jews? Oh, you
Not
mean
here,
in the 30s?
in the old,
Fort
Forest
Myers,
Hills
the former
Gardens.
Fort
not Fort
Myers.
Myers,
The
the
gardens.
old gardens.
Sure.
Yeah, when I looked
No,
for a
yeah.
place for my folks
Yeah.
in Jackson Heights,
What happened?
and I seen a beautiful apartment, and the guy says to me, you know, for you Germans it's nice to come here because we haven't got Jews here. I said, same thing. I said, well, you wouldn't have me, sir. You happen to be Jewish. Just forget about showing me any more apartments. Finished. It hit me so. Coming from Germany, and I have to face that here. You know.
You wouldn't believe
I
a
just
thing like
couldn't,
that.
you know, I didn't look particularly Jewish. I was blonde by nature. Didn't have to dye at that time. My hair was lighter than it's
It
now.
was much lighter. Like you were, what do you think you were light?
Blonde.
You wouldn't believe it.
Sure.
It was
Light
golden
blonde.
blonde.
Golden blonde.
Was too.
You were too?
Yeah,
you
we
had
might
blonde
have a
children?
blonde baby.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know that I had another occasion. When was it? Yeah, we were in Lake Placid, which was interesting. We were eating, we were coming out. All of a sudden, a guy jumps out. Irving, Schoen. There were a lot of people. They had a meeting there from. I think it was New Jersey. They all had banks from New Jersey. So I thought that was the guy I
That
played
was at
around with.
Frankel's.
29th Street in Frankfurt. That was the guy, him and I, we played, and he became vice president of the National City.
Yeah.
Then he retired, now he has his own bank.
We got him into all this.
Now he has his own bank in Jersey. So he said to me, oh, Irving, my friend, so he said to all of them, this is my friend Irving Schoen. If it wasn't for him, I would have lost my job and I wouldn't be in the banking business anymore. So I
That's
said,
true.
come on, yeah. His name was Jimmy Morano. I said, Jimmy, so he says, Irving, you come over.
Italian book?
Yeah, what was the name of the club he wanted us to come?
That
Also-
was also restricted.
Although
The
restricted,
Lake Placid
Lake
so-and-so
Placid,
club,
but-
they never had Jews.
they never had Jews.
They were in such bad financial things that
They
for
found
10 years
Afterwards, I had to take him
me.
in. So I said, Jimmy, they wouldn't let me in because you know that.
He said, you must be kidding, we got plenty Jews now.
I says, okay, because the Frankel told me they don't let Jews in. But he said to me, here's my card. Please come and see me if you need any money, anything you want.
Yeah.
I said, really?
Yeah, right. Thanks a
I
lot.
said, you want to start all
Thank
over
you.
Yeah,
again.
start all over again, right?
Thank
But
you.
I seen him. He was in charge of 42nd Street, National City, there near
No kidding. Park Avenue?
now near 3rd or I don't know where. But I passed by there. He was sitting. Come in. He dropped everything. Come on, sit down and wait. You know, come on. How are you? How you doing? Do you need anything? I said, no, I
I
don't.
tell you, it really was rough the first few years, mark my word.
You know that I told you
We
about.
weren't so young. I was 29 when I got married. I was 34.
You know, like you.
34, you said he was
How old were you when you got married?
34.
I thought you were 32.
32.
No, he's 5
33.
years older than I.
33.
33. I was 29 and you were
Right.
34.
He always told
Well,
me
I'm
he
only
wasn't-
4.5 years older.
Wait a moment, 4.5.
All right, so he's
We married in April
and you had just turned 29.
and was just 29.
Right.
So I was 33.
He always told me he wasn't going to get married until he was 32 because his father got married at 32.
I said he did pretty good. I can wait.
But I never wanted to get married. But
Yeah.
anyway, whatever happened, this is what happened.
Don't cover it up. Yeah.
Oh no, I shouldn't cover it up.
Because
so
then it won't pick you up.
Oh, I see. All right. Oh, you're recording all this business, what we're talking now?
Yeah.
Very soon.
All right, you're going to have it. Let me hear afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something. When we got married, 38, there was a time when he had his parents come. First Sophie came, right?
Who knows whom I didn't come?
Why did you wait so long till 38?
Who wants to get married? I had
No, not married. Why did you wait so long to take your parents out?
They didn't want to come.
They didn't want to come.
You
They didn't
knew-
want.
When you left Germany in 33,
Can I tell you what happened?
34.
you knew already what was happening.
I had the voice.
I happen to be a
convince them.
pretty sensitive human being, and I could not teach in an atmosphere like that. Impossible. When a teacher
Listen,
tells you,
37,
I
my
used to go
parents
and take
came.
lessons yet from the same woman. This conservatory was the second best in all of Germany. Dr. Hoch's.
Yeah.
And if you play in a group, I played a Mozart sonata, and after I was finished, she said, "Karen, very, very good playing." She says, "But of course, as a Jew, you could not get the real German Mozart spirit, you know."
Uh-huh.
And I looked at her. Really.
What a bitch,
But
can
I
you imagine?
never went back there.
With-
Never mind.
A long time ago. Yeah.
I had plenty of these. When I heard Perlman this week,
Yeah.
the Tchaikovsky D major, I just found myself back in Herborn.
Yeah.
I played in 32, there was the winter no-till for poor Germans.
You gave a benefit concert?
Benefit. And we had Veras from Wiesbaden, the concertmaster. She knew the name, I've forgotten the name now. We spoke about it this week, Veras, Wels. And I said, you know that every note came back. And I had a write-up about it, where he says, das blonde Köpfchen, you know,
Yeah, blonde-haired woman. Yeah.
danced along. I
Yeah.
had probably mannerisms, you know, that was pretty. She said it's very, very hard piece to accompany. Very hard piano part.
Yeah.
It's actually the orchestra, you know.
Right.
And that was, and I still had some, but I in Herborn at Tageblatt.
Yeah.
It was that write-up. I should never forget, you know, these things. But I just couldn't, if people come, like, I had the most wonderful kids and talented. They say we hate to leave you. When we come at night, we bring the children. You know, but we're afraid of our jobs. So can they stay in a
32
place
already.
like this?
Was that in 32 already? 33.
It was in 33 it started.
You remember Kristallnacht, don't you?
Da war ich schon hier.
You were here in 38. That's 38.
Who's that?
Kristallnacht.
What
This
do we
time
hear?
I
We hear
was
that.
watching
That
it
was
the other
38.
day on TV.
Yeah. So you left because you saw it coming then. You had a
I've
sense.
seen it
But you
coming,
know that
and nobody of the Jews in Herborn, you must be crazy.
They wouldn't accept
You
it.
still have 26, 28 pupils. You know, it was nice. I was in my own home
Yeah.
at the studio. Why should you want to leave? In a half a year, you don't hear about Hitler anymore. It's all be finished. I said, I'm sorry, I won't stay. And I know that my parents will follow, and my grandmother, and eventually the whole family.
You knew it.
I wouldn't want to be separated from them all my life. You know, we were much too close.
It was different with me.
It was quite a decision to.
But you see, I still have it. I'll give you all that business someday.
Good.
I had a permit. I wasn't a citizen yet in 1932, and I wanted to go out to visit. And when I read all that stuff about Hitler, I wrote him, I'm not coming out, you're going to come here. Oh my God, and I wrote first the boys, you know, first Eliezer came. And
When did he actually come? For me.
33.
That soon you got him out?
Eliezer was here.
Alf was here when I...
34 Alf came, no?
Alf,
35?
Alf came right away afterwards, and then he was a young guy. He didn't, I told you the story, he didn't know me. Did I tell you
He
the
was about
story?
18.
When I came, 17. When I came to the boat and picked up Alfred, and he looked something like me. You know,
Yeah.
that time it was a little,
Yeah.
and the immigration officer asked him, "Do you know him?" He said, "No." "You ever see him before?" He said, "No." "No? No. But he looks like you. It's your brother."
Oh.
He started crying.
You started to cry?
Oh,
How long
You hadn't seen him for how many
I haven't
years?
seen him for, well, he came
What
here
year did he come here?
not too long.
30, 34,
So
5
7 years,
so-
7 years.
Yeah,
7,
but he
8
was a
years
little
old.
boy. He
He
was
was
a
10
little,
years
but
old.
he was a little
He was 10 years
boy.
old, right.
And you probably changed too.
You look
He
different.
changed.
You
Yeah, I
look
didn't know
different.
him neither.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
were
I
23, now you were 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it is, you know. And then when Eliezer came, he came on a Shabbos. I think I told you the story. He didn't want to come off the boat. He didn't want to sign his name on Shabbos because.
So what happened? You signed it for him?
No.
I didn't sign. I
Huh?
can't sign his name. I belong to the Hayas, you know. The Hayas went to the guy and says, "Listen, can't we do anything here? It's Shabbos. He has to stay here. They want to take him back again." Says, "No. I tell you what we do. I'm going to go there, and you go to Ellis Island and get his picture. But how? So get his papers. I had to go the next Monday to Ellis Island with
They
him.
said they would vouch.
They
I
vouched for him.
Hayas vouchers, because by the time I didn't. My vouching didn't mean anything to them.
Right.
So when he came out, I had a car already, right? He wouldn't drive a car.
On Shabbos?
Eliezer.
Yeah.
Must have been a tremendous shock to see.
So there was Howard
His brother
Kaiser.
driving a car.
You don't know who Howard Kaiser is.
Sure he does, from Greensboro.
From Greensboro.
He was there. He was his friend. He wanted to pick him up.
Germany.
Howard Kaiser was his friend from Germany?
Yeah.
Yes.
Eliezer's friend?
Sure.
Howard Kaiser was, how was he related to Gans?
He must have been Orthodox
was
guy,
Gans'
Kaiser.
nephew.
The nephew was
How would he know Eliezer?
From Pfarrer.
He wasn't
Kaisers
Orthodox?
lived in Pfarrer, didn't they?
Kaiser's grandmother and Gans was Howard's uncle. Gans' sister, right?
Was Howard's mother.
I stayed with him. I visited Greensboro when I was visiting.
So
Oh,
Howard
was
went to
very
the
nice.
Howard marched into the
Yeah,
hotel,
he was.
They're lovely
to
people.
the St. George Hotel. I think it was the 17th floor or whatever.
He walked up.
Howard walked with them.
Okay.
Kaiser.
Howard
Yeah.
walked him. I think it took him 8-9 hours or 10 hours. I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Howard
From-
knew how to went
From
over,
the boat to
Going
Brooklyn.
going over the
From
bridge,
boat
the
to
Brooklyn Bridge, or the downtown.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah.
And they at night they came.
So it took you, your parents, so you got them in 34,
37.
35. Oh,
First the boys.
you couldn't convince your
I
parents?
bought so many. They didn't want to be a burden to me.
Your
And I had my
parents?
sister, and husband, 2 kids. Then who the heck knows who else came?
Sophie came in 38. And we rented an apartment there. We all
37.
lived in Washington Heights, all the Germans.
37, I thought.
37. We were engaged. Yeah, could be 37.
Yeah, okay. Whatever it is they came to.
I shall never forget.
On Hans
She didn't
Sachs,
bring much, wait a moment, we in Sophie yet. She didn't bring much furniture.
no furniture.
They were little brought, I think. They were in Ellis Island on account of you said something in his mouth.
Yeah,
And we had to put up, we had never snow, we paid off.
yeah.
We had to put up, I think, $2,000.
To vouch?
We went
Bond.
Fine.
a bond until the children were 18 years
I don't know,
old.
10 years. But I paid. Sure.
Rena was 5 at the time,
Yeah.
5, 6. And Sherry, a couple of years
You
older.
met them, remember them? Jerry Cassinstein, Raina and Hank?
Well, that was the only one who really made me trouble is Julius.
Because he had his
Yeah,
mouth.
they had
So
had
them
them
all
it
over.
cost us that much money, don't you see?
You
We had
had
to take
yeah.
a loan up yet.
Right.
So you had to have a good credit, And we put that down.
I had one thing I had
We
yet.
took the apartment, wait a moment. Dad signed for it. It was cheap at the time,
And we bought
One of
furniture.
those railroad.
Did we buy furniture?
So he said, well, we gotta get him some furniture.
Right.
So we bought some maple furniture. We for ourselves suppose I had any
Right.
furniture yet.
Right.
So for them we bought some maple bedrooms,
Right.
Nice living
and
room
here and there,
and beds and all that. It's a whole business.
beds,
Right.
mattresses,
Right.
went to beds again.
Right.
And then we got a job for Julius finally, as a butcher.
You got a job, huh?
You know who got him the job? Joe Jacobs
Yeah, yeah.
was
Uh-huh.
already in this business.
You worked for him.
And so she took the boys in, Sophie.
Not the boys. You only took in
Alf stayed there for a while.
Alfred, not Eliezer.
But he
Eliezer
didn't
was
take
You
it.
couldn't take it, huh? What, the
She
tension?
was too stingy.
Oh.
Sophie.
Sophie is stingy,
Yeah.
huh?
You know, when she dished out the food and all.
Right, right.
Wasn't her own brother.
When you were a kid, now how much older than you was Sophie?
Sophie's
Sophie's
5
the
years old.
oldest.
She's
5 years old.
she's about 79, 80.
79.
She's going to be 6.
When you
No,
were-
I'm a
when
little
you-
hungry. How about you?
No, I'm not hungry.
You want to have some fruit, good?
No.
Some
Yeah?
good apples?
Then you go ahead and pick them up.
What do you mean, pick them up?
I'll bring them to you.
You go ahead.
What, when you were a kid,
Yeah, what about it?
was Sophie always a special child?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you the story about it.
Hast du doch getaped, Kenny.
I
Yeah.
told you about Sophie. You know that?
Hilde Löwenstein added a little bit
What
to
did she
that.
say? Let me hear it.
You see,
She
my
said she was
father.
the apple of
My
Alfred's
father
eye.
was married twice, right?
You know the story, right?
Although we
Yeah.
were all from the second one, Sophie was the first one, and her mother died when she was born, and my father left.
Right.
And my father, although he was religious, this he never should have showed, that he loved Sophie more than all of us, and he showed it, right? And I naturally, you know, I was a rebel,
And she was the oldest girl. And she was the
The
oldest
oldest.
little girl.
Well, he must have
And
been
I-
a tough guy.
and I,
You were a rebel.
I don't know what I did to her. I think I threw something to her once or hit
Each the
her.
penny.
You know that you know, because she got
Steph,
always,
there's some napkins too.
she always was preferred.
Yeah.
So naturally, you know that, and I, whatever.
You
then
were a
I
real rebel.
beat her up
You
or
were a
what?
real rebel. You were a rebel
Yeah.
in your youth.
They put me down the cellar, and I threw
you
the
hear this?
windows. I took the coal and threw all the windows in the cellar.
They put you in the cellar?
Yeah,
How old
yeah.
were you?
I don't know, maybe 8, 7.
They locked you in the cellar?
Yeah, because they couldn't handle me.
He was thrilled. Huh?
Wild. Because you know, I don't know what it was.
Well, you must have felt that.
You know, I felt that you know, she gets preference.
How did your mother get along with Sophie?
Well, she get along with us. You
Did
know.
Sophie listen to your mother?
Yeah, I don't remember.
You don't remember.
Because she was too small.
She waited on her. I understand.
Yeah,
That's what Hilde
she-
tells me.
She waited on
She
Sophie?
was on account of my father.
On account of Kaufman.
He left Sophie. So you know, is that
And
Your-
now it's just
his wife?
amazing.
He
you know.
says his second wife he only married as convenience. He even said that, you know. Which is
Isn't that
very
horrible
bad.
thing
He
to do?
told your mother that.
He
More or
didn't
less,
tell her
not
that.
so many words,
That's the way it came out. That's the way it came out, which is very bad thing. Even if you think that way, you should never.
How painful
Even as
that
a
must have
religious
been
man,
for
you
her.
never should do
But
that.
She never showed it, huh?
It
But
just
my
went
mother-
down
but
on-
my
she
mother
loved him.
adored him.
She adored him.
What
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it about him that was adorable?
But whom? But him?
His character, what was he like?
He was an honorable man.
Very honest.
Yeah.
But
He was. That's the way he was. Religious.
But he
and all
was
that.
Narrow-minded, right?
narrow-minded,
Yeah, yeah.
fanatic.
When it comes to religion, there's nothing you can do.
Do you know anything about his father?
No, I didn't. I never knew any grandmother or grandfather. Never.
They died? They died?
None of my mother and none of my father.
They died before you were born?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you imagine that his mother was 48 years old when Alfred and Teresa were born?
48.
I never
and his
forget. I
father
came
at
to,
least 50 some odd.
and I came to shul. I came to shul on Shabbos, and they all laughed at me. You know, they all laughed. I was about 13, maybe.
Because he was...
mother was 40?
Yeah.
And you
Yes,
still...
I was. They
Sure.
laughed,
Sure.
I thought...
Up till the early 50s.
and
Menopause
that's what.
doesn't-
Well, there's a 12, 13 year difference in...
Yeah.
No,
Well, they laughed at me. I said, "Why? What are you laughing?"
No, I didn't know women could still bear children at
Oh,
40
sure, as
years
long
old,
as
like
you, as
40
long as you have your period,
or-
yes.
Yeah, when did they get menopause? 50s.
Some people in their 50s,
Some in their 40s.
some earlier, some
Sure.
in their 60s.
Rabbi Gans got another one there. You know that.
That's right. How old was Lizzie when they had that one?
At least 46 and
It's
8.
possible.
She
So
was
that's-
like a menopause, they thought, you
I
know.
thought, yeah.
She had in between the, when not regular
But she had
periods.
2 more kids. They weren't
What?
twins. She had 2 more.
So they did a little.
Shit,
No,
Eliezer
the
and
twins are
Alfred.
19 years old.
I'm
Ken.
saying she had Eliezer and Alfred. 2 separate events.
Yes, two
Yeah.
separate. They poked fun at him.
Yeah?
I came to shul
That
on
little,
Shabbos. I didn't
he
know.
was the skinniest, scrawny little guy. Dead.
You were?
No, he's dead.
Your father was.
I was fat.
Tiny little man, and the mother wasn't tall, good looking.
Oh, yeah?
My mother was a big, tall woman.
And they all look like the mother, boys.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh.
Eliezer. Eliezer looks like his
I
dad.
like my
You
father.
should see him now, Kenny. They
He
say.
looks just like
See
your
him?
father.
You see him?
I haven't seen him in a long time.
And he's,
I saw him when he came to New York, sure.
he is in many
Yes.
ways just
He has
like.
the same characteristics, just like him.
He says he can see his father again.
Narrow-minded,
Yes.
Religion, and that's all.
yeah.
There's no two ways about it. Anytime you have, there's nothing you can argue with him.
Right.
To be
Interesting.
tolerant, right? Do I have to be
Interesting.
like you? That's your business.
Eliezer's the youngest, right?
And Jesu is older than Alfred.
Alf is
Was
the
your
youngest.
you had left already, so you don't know how your father treated Alfred and Eliezer. do
Oh,
you?
he loved them, but he couldn't handle them.
Why not?
Well, he
Because
put him into
they-
yeshiva.
He put it in
Is
yeshiva.
that why you
was-
put him in yeshiva?
No.
No. When they
They're
were
grown up too.
maybe 8 or 10 or 12 years old, they played soccer, and they jumped over the we had a garden there over the wall.
He couldn't handle them.
No,
But
they
the
couldn't.
mother put out the football shoes outside.
Yeah.
My father
She
wouldn't want
encouraged
him.
them.
My father wouldn't want him. So
She
she put him
encouraged
out
them.
and they left and played.
He wanted them to study all day at work.
Yeah, well,
All
no,
day Chumash.
they studied on Sundays, they
Yeah.
went. They went. They don't know.
So
they
that's
didn't
why they
work.
were sent to Frankfurt, because he couldn't.
No,
That's
then
why they were
that
thrown out
was
of
this. They were
school.
thrown
Because they
out
were
of
Jewish?
school. Sure.
I see.
And
Listen,
they were
don't you know
brilliant
what happened there
students,
that
both
time?
of them.
I don't want to tell you any too much of
Whatever you
stuff.
want.
They were brilliant
The last
students.
I
time they
believe
took
it.
all the Jews, there was a big bridge, Pfarrer on the Werra. The Werra was the river,
Yeah.
and they put them on the river and threw them all in the river. The Jews.
The ones
The
that were left.
remaining Jews.
The remaining Jews, whoever could swim,
were killed.
saved life, but the other they all drowned.
What year was this?
Late.
Maybe
39,
38,
40?
39,
40 maybe.
40.
You heard this later.
Yeah,
Of course.
Who was it? One of your cousins was hung upside down to sell
well,
her
that
land?
was my
Don't
aunt.
talk about it. That's Hilda Lowenstein's mother.
Who am I going to talk to? Hilda
I
Lowenstein's mother
That's whose mother? That's Hilda's mother.
was hung upside down.
No, the mother.
Well, you see, we
Yeah, till she signed the papers.
owned a
Piece of land.
farm, big farm, and we divided it amongst the farmers there. Each one could buy a
Share crop.
yeah,
Oh, you
2
sold it. You
acres.
sold it.
No, they parceled it off.
We parceled it off, and they could. So they owed us a lot of money on that, And one day they came and occupied the
The farmers.
Rathaus.
The farmers did. The Nazis.
They
did.
went
Who
to
did?
Pfarrer. The Nazis
Yeah.
came.
Yeah,
The Nazis came, from that town,
yeah.
with the farmers, right? And they said, they waited for my father to come. And my uncle had already died. My
Right.
uncle died, and they called my aunt
Yeah.
to sign that they don't know anything. All right, so what are you going to do? He had to sign. My father signed.
Yeah.
My aunt didn't want to sign. So what they do? They took her clothes off and hang her up on the wherever they hang her up
On the feet.
on the feet
Upside down.
and
yeah.
hit her. On the
And she
throat.
signed.
Sure. My father yelled at her. What did you?
Yeah.
So she signed.
No money is worth that.
Did she get out or she died there?
No, she died.
She didn't get out.
Naturally, though. Naturally.
Natural death. Hilda's mother.
Were there any people who you couldn't get out, who you wanted to get out?
Yeah.
I don't know how many cousins I had.
Yeah, but there were some you did not. You sent the papers, the Oxes.
What
Yeah.
happened to them?
See, I had
They're related to Ox from
The New York Times.
you
You're
know,
related
from the
to
New
them.
York Ox, sure.
What happened?
Ox's mother was my father's sister.
The Ox from the New York Times?
No, they
Ox
were
from
the
Germany,
Ox from
but they
Germany. but
originally
They were
come from
originally-
3 or
Germany.
4 generations before they